I don't think men do it as much as women do. But that's for a man to speak on, not me. So someone should speak up. Clout, you seem like you have something to say.
Yeah, I wanted to speak more on what you had said earlier about how like people weren't taught how to date, people weren't taught how to communicate. And I think one thing a lot of time we overlook is like the education system in general. Like the whole purpose of the education system is to get people to a standard of communication, a standard of comprehension, a standard of socialization, so that we can all understand each other and have healthy relationships. And like really, a lot of people just are just uneducated from the standpoint of like the system has failed them. Like they get through school without really knowing how to read. A lot of these kids now can't read. If they can't read, they can't comprehend. And a lot of times you'll find that you have conversations with people where when they can't read or comprehend, what happens is when they hear certain words, their emotions flare up because they don't know what the word means. You could be complimenting them and they think you're insulting them. You could be trying to and ask a question and they think you're trying to beat down their point because they really just don't have the communication skills necessary. And I think that that's really where that problem is stemming from. We really got to look at education and find a way to really get people today back to the standard of education that like I think a lot of our generation grew up, because I'm 36 and a lot of my peers or at least the generation before me, they could read well. They understand words. They can, they understand vocabulary. And it's like these kids now and a lot of these millennials, they don't get it. Like they really just do not have the skills necessary. And it's the education system. I don't
Well,
know
I
how a
don't.
lot of them even make it into college, because even on college campuses, they just do not even have the ability to debate. So we have to address that as a whole in society.
Ooh, that's a really good point.
I wouldn't contribute it to the school system entirely because I feel like parents have a duty to teach their children as well. I went to great schools, but my mom and my father taught me a lot as well. Things that you just don't always pick up in school, even throughout, adulthood, you just learn things that the school is not going to teach you. So it's not all on the school system, but
I agree
that
with you.
does contribute
I
for
agree with
sure.
you. And to add to what you were saying, when I was younger, I feel as though from my memory, all of the parents were adults. Like there
Yes.
was a clear, like the parents would show up to pick up their kids in like button up shirts and like ties, and like the mom, they looked like they just came from work and they were clearly like, oh, these are grown adults, these are people in like their late 20s 30s.
Hmm.
The parents now were like, there's a school right by my house, and when I drive by, there's times where you can't even tell the difference between the parents and the kids. Like I'm talking, they dress the same, they got the same hairstyles, like the parents are kids. A lot of these parents have no high school education, and they got 6 kids, so it's like they never even learned these skills, so they can't even pass them down to their children. And then it's a generational thing. You got kids raising kids, and then they're raising kids, and no one in the family has an education level up to the standard, especially in our community. They don't have an education level up to the standard, like the basics to function in society.
That's what I was going to kind of piggyback on and speak to. Like, what's your background? What was your family dynamic that you grew up in? Did you have a two-parent household? Did you have a single mother? What activities, if you had a single mother, was she up to? What did you see as a child? How did you see her interact with men and with relationships? Was it abusive?
Yes.
Things take a toll on to how people communicate with each other um, in any dynamic of life. And I think that we need to take that in consideration as we're vetting out partners, um, to see their background. That's one thing you should be asking. What's your family dynamic like? You will have a different result. Um, there are men with mother wounds who have disorders. They throw around the word narcissists, womenizers, abusers. There are women with daddy wounds who are hoes, who are promiscuous. So if these people are interacting, they're grown, they're adults physically, but mentally they're children because they haven't been in the proper dynamics to experience life and to be able to make proper decisions educated decisions because they don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. People are not having those conversations early.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
Well,
And I do feel
I
like
know
that's
one
the
thing.
main.
go ahead, Di.
I was just gonna say that's the main reason why our community is the way it is, because I know when it came down to, so I wrote a couple things down. So, like for instance, when you communicate, you have to be able to adapt to people's learning styles. Everybody learns and communicate differently, and I think when I help a lot of people, when I first begin to talk, um, like they said, they say you, and I learned to not to get defenses off that, because I realized, okay, they don't know how to communicate. It's not really me, but they're just trying to express how I made them feel. So I go past the you and look straight to towards the feeling. And if you look, when you're trying to do, that's just basic psychology. When you're having an argument with someone, you're trying to get to a common ground. You don't want to go into the argument, you. You want to say, I feel like this, because it won't put that person on the defense. But spirituality is definitely important when it comes to communication and making this community better, because like you said, we don't know their past. So you could be telling somebody, oh, I need you to do this, that. And they're like, you trying to tell me what to do? You trying to say I don't know how? And once you realize that they're that type of person, now you have to switch up your communication style. Now, instead of me saying this is what you need to do, before I tell you what you need to do, I'm gonna give you a situation on where I did it too. Because if I'm telling you this is what you need to do, one thing about me, I'm not gonna give you advice about something I don't know nothing about. So that's why when it came down to the marriage talk, I can't really give you too much advice, because I'm still looking for that experience. I'm still waiting to build that a bond with a man, so where he can be honestly communicating what he's feeling from my actions. Like the one of the guys, he was talking about how it's important when a guy is taking care of you, that when they say, oh, I don't want you to wear this or go here or go there, I want to know, why is that important to you? Why is that so important for you to have that opinion on my life? Because if I don't understand why that's important to you, to me, now I think you're trying to control me based on my personal experience. You get what I'm trying to say? So yeah, that's just kind of the like what I want to say, that how spirituality is definitely just being in tune with yourself, because when that communication breakdown happens, you won't take it personal. You'll realize, okay, this isn't me. It could be them. And how can I adjust to them to get my point across? And a lot of people in our community, they don't do that. They're just like, oh, they're wild, they're this and they're that. But that's why you're in contact with this person, so you can make a difference.
I do. All right. I
Yeah,
did
my
want to
buddy died. My buddy died. She said, "Fuck that timer, JR. Hey, that timer don't mean shit to her."
Make it a little
God
long.
damn. Talk your shit, man.